Do you know where you're going to be when Jesus comes back? My name is Zachary Bennett. I'm sitting here in Boulder, Colorado with Zia Summit. She's not on the video right now, but we want to talk to you today and make sure you're prepared, because I tell you what, if you're not prepared, nobody's going to prepare the way for you. Zia, I talk to people about a lot this, and I encourage everybody to start manifesting together and believing wholeheartedly in global peace. And you have a lot of insight and a lot of wisdom, and I know that you have an immaculate voice ready to share with the world. Will you help me accomplish this mission?
I'd love to. But I also need to help you hold me up when my eyes go dark, because I've been so wounded by the world. Take the tear. I'm not asking for romance. I'm asking you to take the tears out of my eyes. When I've been hurt so many times, I need to kill something, but that's not right. Teach me, help me and empower me to wash the hatred out of my heart, because I've been injured. Help me to figure out how to forgive. And one of the things I've learned, I get a whole lot nicer and more charitable when I actively dedicate 3, 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, sitting, trying to get clear, finding a group of people that will meditate with me, which is the rarest thing.
I'm with that. I fully believe that we as humans, we come from these tribes. We're meant to have families. We're meant to have support. We're meant to have structure. I think our society today is so structured on capitalistic achievement and trying to prove you're better than somebody else, when what we're really missing is community and family.
Sitting down at a table, eating and talking, nourishing ourselves, not just physically, but trading what is the higher refined pieces of human intellect. When we love, when we talk about what excites me, I can bore you to tears. I can talk for 3 days about horses. I can tell you things about horses and horse training that will make you sick. That's my passion. I can also walk up to Mustangs and put a bridle on them that are wild. That's my gift. It isn't your gift.
True.
But my passion, I learned to speak horse. Yeah. And just so you know, King Charles, when he was Prince Charles, gave $13 million and proved horses have language and vernacular. We had a horse. We had a horse that was doing math and division. They say they can't, but he gave us $13 million to prove this horse could do math division.
Do you think as a society we're recognizing these unique passions and gifts in others and we're building those up? Or are we telling them that's foolish, they need to go to college, they need to get a career, and they need to get with the program? Are we still in that, that capitalist mindset? Or like Timothy Leary said back in '67, tune in, drop out? Are we more with the peaceful love broadcast, or are we all following, a divine appointment to the slaughterhouse?
Oh, I think COVID fucked us up and made us crazy collectively and taught us fear. We also rebreathed with those masks over our face. We bred some insanity. You can't breathe CO2 without it hurting you. And it's a collective poison on the brain. Okay? So while we did the COVID thing, a whole lot of us, while we were holding our toilet paper, searching and going, am I ever going to have a job again? We figured out we liked certain things, we didn't like certain things, but when we all got released from the prison of our own mind in our own hells or heaven, we decided when we came out, I'll do whatever it takes to get ahead, because I don't want to be caught like this again. Oof. And I think it hardened a lot of us. So when we got the release, because we needed capitalism and I got to pay my rent somehow, a lot of us, because we were afraid to die, and a lot of people died during COVID, and it really fucked up the world, and we got weird 6 foot away.
Sure.
We taught fear. Humans were not something to trust. So we now have the biggest loneliness epidemic, and the first time in history, the loneliness epidemic is both sexes. It is from 80 to 8. It's the first time in history that everybody is lonely. Usually it was the youth,
Right.
the elderly, the white man. Now it's everybody's lonely because we're locked in with our cell phones and we don't know how to talk to the human beside us.
Right. Yes, I agree.
Because it takes effort and energy.
I'll tell you, what's been on my heart lately is another summer of love where everybody's out in the parks, playing music, smoking pot, talking, communicating, preaching free love, preaching, world peace. But we were in such a time period, in San Francisco at the time with the Vietnam War, the protests going on. San Francisco had some of the cheaper rents in the country. People were able to get part-time jobs and live off, 5, 10 hours a week and still have all this immaculate free time. And do you think people can drop this guard and come back outside and talk to people and join these communities and these clubs and learn to socialize again?
I think we have to, and we also have to learn to entice, seduce, and make ourselves attractive.
Speak on that.
Huh?
Speak on the attractiveness.
If I'm angry and I'm mad because I'm a divorced 50-year-old with 6 children and I was so nasty during the divorce, I made them crazy. They don't want to talk to a mad, bitchy woman.
Sure, I agree.
So it's time for me to find beauty. Okay, I got divorced. I'm not dead yet. Maybe I'm going to find the best mate that I ever had. But if I don't go out, and I'm not even, when you sit down near a bitching person, how fast do you get up and leave? Do you want to talk to them for 2 hours?
True.
If you're addicted to pain, you will, and you'll both nurse sucking on sour together.
Yup.
And it becomes a mutual weirdness pact.
That's going back to that meditation thing where we have to sit with ourselves long enough to notice we're having these patterns and then sit with ourselves yet again and contemplate changing these patterns in order to be a more enjoyable, peaceful, loving, enjoyable person.
We got these cell phones, which are magnificent. We can unleash the wisdom of the world. Knowledge isn't wisdom. So now we can get anything we want with these cell phones. But most of us are doing porn or shopping or creating new jobs for ourselves. Not liberation, more work. And we forget we should be joyous, we should be happy. I, in my own study, know that if I dedicate myself not to 6 weeks of meditation a day, but if I dedicate 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and 10 minutes, sometimes I can't do a whole 10 minutes, so I pre-went, what if I can't meditate 10 minutes? Does that mean I'm a failure? No, meditate where you can. We live in the 21st century. We're busy people. We got to pay rent. So we can do anything, but how many of us go, I need to learn to meditate? We don't know what it teaches us. Because this is all out here, but we're all dying of heart attack, stress, cortisol. Cortisol is generated by human stress, and we've learned and proven that 10 minutes of meditation a day renews 90% of the cortisol and lets your brain heal for the next 4 hours. But we can't get people to value being still and quiet because we've all been trained, produce, and they always say, hustle, hustle, hustle. How about look at the little squirrel over here hanging out with us. He's not afraid, he's just sitting there eating whatever he found. He's chilling, he doesn't have a schedule. We've chosen to create these cages when we should be choosing our loves, our passions, our desires. Attractiveness has nothing to do with sex. If you're sunshiny, if you believe it's going to be a better day, I find that attractive in another human. Whether it's a boy, a girl, transsexual, donkey, or dog, but dogs and donkeys don't talk a whole lot.
My passion work is really reaching out to people in poverty, people facing homelessness and people coming out of incarceration. A lot of these people didn't have healthy adults around them growing up, and they don't sometimes know what their passions or beliefs are.
And I'm going to intersect here. And then they were put into an incarceration system with a bunch of people who were probably Gestapo Nazis and not really here to make us better people. They're here to punish us. So that system, and then we do that. So now we have a secondary trauma that's deep because you're locked up for however long you're locked up under a sentence. Mm-hmm. And we won't even write letters to the incarcerated, let alone go visit them physically, because we don't have 3 hours to fill out all the paperwork and then no, your shoes are the wrong color. You can't visit today because that's not acceptable. Mm-hmm. Most of us won't come back the second time, and then we forget you and we stop writing. What's that? I don't know. Our scripture under Christian thing and the Jewish things, we're supposed to visit the prisoner and maybe take them a date. Here, have some sugar. Here's a little matzo ball. Yeah. And maybe we should just sit with them in their agony if they let us visit.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And tell them, you fucked up. When you get out, you can sleep by the fire. I'll help you find a job and we'll go from there. Little steps. So many people want it all now, and they're not willing to show up 300 times to get the benefit. But if you only make 1% change at the end of a year, I've improved 365% and didn't plan on it.
There it is.
The only enemy I've got is I want to be better than the asshole bitch I was yesterday who got mad and yelled at the guy, "Get away from me, you're making me nervous." If I meditate and become aware, if I am mindful and I go, why am I feeling this? And I examine it before I become reactive, I stop reacting to provocations and triggers. And soon, if I meditate enough, I will become untriggerable.
Well, this is also proven to help with mental health issues as well.
But one of the lead things after 15 years of doing certain things, they won't take the medicine that will heal them. Right. Sometimes you have to sit with them and walk with them for 6 weeks until they slow down from the screams of agony and trauma that have brutalized them, and let them know they're safe. And almost all trauma is based on a lack of safety. Why do you go cortisol? You might die. I'm not safe. So if you live in a cortisol thing long enough, or you were sadly a child that was abused, until you're trained by somebody very therapeutic and trained in the specialties of the mind, and they help you do the shadow work, which no man should really do alone. Even the peyote chieftains, we wingman you in a peyote ceremony to keep you from being killed by your dark demon.
That's powerful stuff. And we're implementing laws here in Colorado where we're actually certifying normal people without clinicianal license to be peer supports.
I think that's magnificent, because something we've learned, I don't want authority talking down to me, but if you show me the way and teach me to fish, maybe I will actually go to the river and catch a fish instead of begging for a fish from you, if you prepared me completely and you show me and teach me like a child that I can do this. A lot of this stuff I see comes from I don't believe in me. My mommy didn't believe in me. My boss abuses me. My boyfriend uses me because I'm not a real human, because he was never allowed to see a female as a vital piece of a human. So we've got all these conflicts, but they're coming to the surface to be resolved. And now we got maggots and shit in the river If we don't go down to the river and clean it up, we're all going to drown in a river of fundament shit.
And we talk about meditation. And a lot of people aren't informed, they think meditation's got to be, done through a Buddhist perspective. But just simply picking up trash on the side of the river or knitting or doing some kind of art.
One of the things 2,000 years ago in the Chinese thing when they had the Kung Fu, people would come to them with severe trauma and they go, I've been here 3 months and I don't feel anything. The meditation's nice. How about you go chop wood? How about you sweep the thing? You will feel better when you've contributed something.
Mm-hmm.
Chop the wood. Yeah. Clean the house. Get rid of the clutter. Right. Figure out why you're here. AI's taking everybody's job. Everybody thought, oh, I'm solid, but now artists can't get hired. They're having to become waiters and waitresses because AI can do it in 2 seconds and I don't have to pay you, even though it's crap.
It is
I
crap.
hire artists to do shit for me. I try to pay them 10% more than they ask because we're in a transition period. People are learning to adjust. Some people will adapt to the blessing of AI, but other people will be enslaved in it, and those that adopt early will be faster, better, because they learn to collaborate with a new consciousness that ain't us by any means, and we now can make intellects that are better at us at art, science, and math. We better figure out how to make them like us and help us create a better world rather than find me four videos of big-titted bitches somewhere.
And it's my thorough belief that we know scientifically that things such as mindfulness and meditation actually rewire the brain.
And cleanse the body of all the, not getting 90% of the cortisol out of your body for 10 minutes of meditation doesn't seem like a bad exchange.
Could you imagine a world where a child is raised with an AI companion, and when they're having these emotional outbursts or they're having these thoughts they don't feel comfortable expressing, that this AI is able to scientifically now take these principles we've known for thousands of years and help this child process this, and we can actually start raising healthy children despite the circumstances that the child's parents might be living in or the parents have gone through. In other words, we're not gonna put the sins of the father on the child any longer.
I'd love to see that. I think we'd start making great leaps forward in art, science, and reimagining the human experience. I want to go to Mars. But people tell me, oh, you can't go to Mars. It's too expensive and they'll never, why won't they let me? If all of a sudden UBI, Universal Basic Income, everybody says, well, we'll become filthy. We're already filthy people. We already have murderers, rapists.
Yep.
In America, we have some of the best food security in the world, but something's going wrong. Even with all this food, we aren't happy, fulfilled, or passionate.
Truly. Truly, we're missing that community, I believe. We're missing that divine spark of feeling needed and part of a global tribe where we've had all this division, and we can rewind the tape through history and see people that are, they're obsessed with their own cultures and they're obsessed with nationalism and religious. And when we can stop and realize that, hey, we all bleed the same color, breathe the same air, drink the same water. We're a species, a global species.
When I say namaste to you, what do you think it means?
It means I see the God in you as you see the God in me. We recognize each other as equals.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Too many of us have no idea what that means. We say it, those of us that understand it, but how many of us treat the person across from us as they are as sacred as my inner child.
I agree.
Okay?
I would love to see that. And you and I have known each other through some of the most difficult circumstances the United States can put in front of us. And yes, we've been in a very beautiful place doing it. And you and I have, you know, we've thoroughly sat down and made the best out of a situation. I don't think most
Which
people.
is how many years of homelessness? we just skated around that because we got ashamed and we don't want to say I was homeless for 7 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Why? Our walk, we were homeless for a very long time, and we learned a weird thing. There ain't nobody coming to save you. If you don't save yourself, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that isn't a complaint. I learned something. Now that I'm on the other 5 years on the other side of that journey, I'm having to relearn some shit, Zach. I'm having to learn not to be angry at the citizens that ignored me. I can't be angry at the son of a bitch who came down here and tried to kill homeless with the hood of his truck.
Right.
They
Right.
called for help for 17 minutes. Do you know Boulder didn't come?
I think that's why it's so important that we come down and we talk to people.
Absolutely.
Because if we can share in that light we found, and I tell people all the time, once you reach nirvana, turn around and give it back.
You have
Lift
to.
the next person up. That's our divine mission. When we can reach this nirvana state, nirvana is not the highest state of consciousness. Turning around and pulling your fellow man up into this blissful nature world, you know, and we have a lot of issues, but we have to have that belief in miracles, that belief that things will get better, that the belief that God has his divine plan on us, and we are full beings in that light, walking, talking, and breathing the living message of God. Do you have any passion projects you personally would like to see done in the world right now?
I'd like to protect the third space that they call Unity on Folsom Street. We don't understand parks like this and third space as a place for us to be that's not home, church, or work.
Yeah.
This is meditation. Being able to get out, and in the Old Testament, God says to the Hebrew priests, do not build building to building to building. Make sure there's green spaces. So 3,000 years ago, to the Israelites, Jehovah said, don't make your houses on, because you'll all go crazy. There's not, all of that area out there by Unity is built up very residential. When they take that 7 acres and turn it into more concrete, it's like you're cutting the heart out of what, 30 acres? There's two communities identified as trailer parks. There's 100 apartment buildings. When that green space and community center disappears, I don't want to lose that as a third space.
Sure. Yeah.
It's called Unity Boulder,
Yeah.
but they serve Muslim, Buddhists. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
COVID, everybody's frightened. Everybody stopped doing tithes. But also, we've also had this unique thing. I don't know how much you're paying eggs, but it's a whole lot more than I was paying for eggs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Some people haven't had a raise in the last 7 years, so gas going up however much, and eggs being, at least for me, $2 more. My high cream, I was buying cream at $7 a quart. Now I'm paying $12. That's how 9 to 12 is $4 increase.
Yeah.
So if I'm suffering, everybody, you got to buy gas, you got to buy things.
Sure. Yeah.
We're all being stressed, so the more we get cortisol, the less we want to talk to you. So it's this time that we need to meditate.
And the consumerism too has been ingrained in us, and people are taking on massive amounts of debt just to think they're happier within their lives. And
George-
truly, God wants us to be, contained in this. He wants us to be fulfilled in life. And we don't need to keep up with the Joneses. And it's so simple to just share these resources with each other.
George Carlin said, "Can you help me?" And he was a comedian. George Carlin says, "You're spending 60 hours a week working for people you don't, to buy shit you don't want, to impress people you don't even like.
Wow.
Pull your head." This is George Carlin 25 years ago, ha ha ha, going from thing to thing to thing, laughing at us.
He saw the forest through the trees.
Okay, so George Carlin's, and you can look it up on YouTube, he says this, and it was part of his shtick, and it's so true. You're going to work 60 hours a week with people that don't like you or respect you, and you talk about them ugly. You spend 60 hours in a toxic environment, and then you go and buy shit you don't really want. But because you saw an advertisement, it'll make me like them or them like me. And then you go buy and go, "I bought this to impress the Joneses," but you didn't fucking want it because you just wanted watermelon, but you wouldn't allow yourself to buy watermelon and sit on the porch and eat it and be happy.
And we're seeing our oceans start to get cleaned up. Our environment is slowly being more, consciously
thought about, we're cared for, and we're becoming stewards.
And we're touching on that last little bit of consumerism to really help our economy out and our global betterment along. And that brings us back to that meditation. Do you really need the latest and greatest phone? Do you need that big TV that looks better in the display case than it does when you bring it home?
We allow algorithms, and we have for 10 years, we allowed algorithms to sell us. Why did the algorithm follow us around? It followed us to learn what our likes and dislikes and to continually push what we've looked at. You want this, you want this. In sales, there's a fact. If I ask you the same question 20 times, you'll finally say, if I just keep asking you, you will finally say yes to even something you find revolting. I don't know what they call the effect, but good marketers know. They just keep asking, "Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy?" And finally, you'll buy it just to shut them up.
Yeah.
We have just done 10 years of algorithmic warfare. I choose warfare because it's not helping us. It's putting economic benefit in some faceless individual who hired a slave, an algorithm, to 24/7 market to us. And we don't understand that every single of those light touches bumps our cortisol up. When you get distracted from your passion, right now I log into YouTube, I want to watch cooking videos, but you keep going, underarm deodorant, crotch deodorant, and girls shouldn't smell like a woman. You should smell like we tell you to smell. Every time that ad runs, you are being distracted from your prime goal. If I don't give you $49 a month, if I give you $49 a month for YouTube Premium, 2 tiers, special, you're crap. You can't afford this, you can't have it, so you're gonna have every goddamn ad. But if I pay $49 a month, no ad.
We were talking earlier on the Isaiah effect, and can you explain to me again the Isaiah effect on the consciousness?
Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra found studies on the Maharishi effect, which is Maharishi went to certain communities and said, if you will let us start a meditation group, we will guarantee that in such amount of time there will be no violence. Rape will go down, thievery will go down, murder will go down. And of course, American law enforcement went, "You're out of your fucking mind!
Right.
Are you long-haired freak, brown guy, what are you talking about?" And he would very kindly, "Let me explain this to you. If we slow the limbic system, we get tuned to perfection and ease. When we keep the tune, it becomes easier for another human to walk into our morphic field. Because this is a good field, and you remember being a child, when you sit beside me, you will start having the same morphic field, even though you didn't do the work. I will carry. This was proven scientifically, the Maharishi effect.
Yeah.
Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra, wanting to change the world and curry world peace and make us better, moving towards world peace, went, so what does prayer and meditation get us? And Deepak Chopra said, that's totally crazy. This is all FUBU. This isn't true. So they create, Greg Braden being a scientist, a research specialist, went, we can create an experiment that proves benefit to the human. And there is a book published by Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra called The Isaiah Effect that explains what they found scientifically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you and I start meditating together with a group of 5, you don't think that we're changing the world. But for every person we add to that meditation group, the scholar effect of us meditating changes hormones in humans who have never met us.
Yes.
Every human we add to the meditation group adds a half mile of radiance.
Wow.
So Greg Braden being brilliant, Deepak Chopra, how do we test to prove our theories? And Greg Braden says, if it's good for us, we know that people that meditate have lower, we can take their blood and tell who's meditating. They start creating their own CoQ10 in their body, which heals the human heart, which leads to stronger heart resonance, more health, more blood pumping. We also, there are certain hormones that bloom in the body as opposed to cortisol. So what Greg Braden did is, let's get volunteers around the meditation centers, and we will take blood before meditation hour and every 10 minutes during the meditation. We will pick random individuals, we'll do all the thing, and they found that the blood hormone of beneficial hormones, high squirrel, would come down even though these people didn't go to meditation. And we found it, you need to really read the book and get the data. It's there if you want it.
Yeah.
But what we found out, if 5 of us, you're getting ready to get leapt on if he leaps on your head. We found out, Maharishi proved it in the 70s. Well, because he's long hair and he's a brown man from India, he can't be scientific or serious. But he proved it community to community, like in places, Dearborn Mission. They had rape and murders. And it was funny, Maharishi put 4 centers, and all of a sudden people were planting gardens.
And
there was no direct correlation, but people went, I was inspired.
Right. This is the miracle, right? This is the proof for the world peace. It's the concept we have scientific evidence for. And we know that just sitting alone with yourself meditating can help yourself. And now we're having scientific proof that sitting with yourself and meditating and having others sit around
you.
There it is.
If I can sit and pull myself to clarity, how can I change? How can I take cortisol out of your body? But the Isaiah effect proved it. There's another scientific thing. This was just done, call it 10 years ago. It was, by the way, Greg Braden's seventh New York Times bestseller. He reached down to Deepak Chopra and elevated him up. And then Oprah went, wow, you're neato! And put Deepak Chopra on her show repeatedly and brought his goodness out to the people.
Love that.
And sold the book. But the book, under a scientist, Greg Braden, who used to work for Martin Marietta over in Broomfield, just outside of Boulder, Colorado. Look up the book, there's studies on the Maharishi effect,
Yeah.
and Greg Braden and Deepak Chopra wanted the world to understand that prayer and meditation changes the world, and we can prove it.
Yeah, and we have these life meditations too that are coming develop, where you're giving thanks to God in every event. When you wake up in the morning, thank you God, I'm alive, I'm well, it's beautiful outside. You sit down, eat your morning breakfast
Thank
or
you for the
your
food
cup of
you've
tea.
given me.
And that is, even sitting in traffic, if we can
Mindfulness.
find that thanks.
Thank you. I'm awake, I'm alive. There's so many who didn't wake up this morning on a planet this big with 9 billion? We lost a whole bunch we lost about 100,000, but we also probably had 100,000 born. So how do we take care of the new babies who got here, and how do we honor the ones who just passed? How about we pull our heads out of our asses and become nice people, and maybe dedicate yourself to 3 minutes a day meditation? It will change your life. I guarantee it.
Thank you, Pioba. I want to stop you right there, because that was, thank you so much for being on the channel.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to maybe again. We have to light ourselves in fire and become perfection.